In this episode, I go over my top 10 picks for New Comic Book Day, July 21st, 2021. What's going on, guys? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am going over my top 10 picks for New Comic Book Day, July 21st, 2021. I cannot believe we are already getting towards the back end of July. This is crazy. Real quick, want to mention that I am really pumped for Terrificon coming up. We're talking about July here, so that's at the end of the month. Really excited. Let me know if you guys are going to be there. Would love to meet up and plan some things. I'll be there all weekend, so I think I'm traveling Friday night, and I'll be there all through Sunday. So really looking forward to Terrificon. But hey, if you are here or you're new for the first time, make sure you smash the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. Always appreciate the support. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of these lists, as I've been doing them every Thursday. I know right now, maybe you're watching this in the premiere. If you are, I appreciate it. These videos premiere every Thursday at 12:30 Eastern time. So if you're looking to catch this in a live chat setting, make sure you join us here at on Thursdays at 12:30 Eastern. And if you are here right now in this premiere chat, thank you so much for taking that time to hang out with me here today. I have this top 10 list here I'm really excited for. I always say that this is the best time to be reading comics because, well, it's true. Every week there are just amazing books each and every week. It is a really good week again for comics coming up here. So I'm going to break down my top 10 books that I personally am very excited for and would love to hear your thoughts. So leave a comment in the comment section below for that as well. But let's dive into the 10 books here. My number 10 pick that I'm going to start with is Moon Knight issue number 1. There was a lot of hype with this as, you know, obviously it's Moon Knight. So I have to say I'm very new to the character. I have not really explored too much, but I think that this is going to be where I'm jumping in. I know that I've had friends recommend other books to me for Moon Knight, and I probably will take some time at some point to dive into some of the older series of Moon Knight. But to kind of stay into the now and see where some of the more modern stuff's going, I am very curious about this particular title. So I am going to give this one a shot. Also, it is being written by Jed MacKay, who is also writing Magic the Gathering, which I'm really, really enjoying right now. And so I had to dive into it and give this a shot. So looking forward to that. Again, very new to Moon Knight in general. Don't know much about the character, but hopefully, you know, as they're putting this out as a brand new launch, it gives me some background and detail on the character itself. Also, the artist Alessandro Capuccio, who I think does some of the artwork for Avengers and Power Rangers, if I'm not mistaken. You know, from what I've seen with the Avengers stuff, I really like it. So definitely looking forward to this issue number 1. So that's my number 10 pick of the week, Moon Knight issue number 1. Let's see, going into my number 9 pick of the week, I'm going to go with a Boom Studio book. This is Dark Blood, issue number 1. And I mean, I say this a lot about Aftershock, but I feel the same way about Boom Studio, where it's like if an issue 1 comes out, most likely I'm going to give it a shot, especially one such as this particular title. It looks like it's right down my alley. I know it was compared to, or not, or it says it's for fans of Department of Truth and Bitter Root. So, you know, 2 books who I know have gotten a lot of praise. I have to catch up on some Bitter Root, but Department of Truth obviously is one of my favorite series that is out right now, just in comics in general. So, definitely want to give this a try. Dark Blood is written by Latoya Morgan, and the art is by Walt Barna. So 2 creators I'm not as familiar with, which I'm always interested in, you know, just giving a shot, even just for that reason as well. Let's see, I'll read a little bit of it. What if you were given the power to change the course of history? It says, Alabama, 1955, Avery Aldridge is an ordinary young black man. A decorated World War II veteran, Avery provides for his wife and his daughter. But wounds of the past have a way of coming back, and Avery will soon discover he is anything but ordinary. After a run-in awakens strange new abilities, Avery's about to become more powerful than he could ever dare to dream in a country and society that never wanted him to have any power. So it seems like it's a heavy read. It looks kind of scary, like kind of dark. You could see like this thunder, lightning in the background. His eyes are glowing. So yeah, I mean, it just says it's, you know, a perfect for Department of Truth and Bitterroot fans. So I'm on board with this. This is Boom Studios Dark Blood issue number 1 is my number 9 pick of the week. Let's see, going into my number 8 pick of the week, I'm going to go with another issue number 1. It is called We Don't Kill Spiders. This is a Black Caravan book, and the cover alone, if we just take a look at this for a second, looks really, really interesting. Just has this like kind of witch. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this Viking going on in the background. It looks super dark, and that's what I'm into. So I think it looks pretty cool. I like the pink coloring with the text, and the shadow on her is pink, but otherwise decked out in black. So let's see. Okay, so that makes sense. It is, it says it takes place in the early Viking age. A faithless Norseman detective is summoned to a Scandinavian hamlet where a series of murders have occurred. Discovering the dark and bloody history of the village, he investigates the local outcasts, a necromantic witch who brings his atheistic values into question. Determined to prevent further homicides, the two band together to discover the identity of a serial killer. So it's like a mystery, like a detective mystery type style, but it's taking place in the early Viking age. So that description alone sounds really cool. So sign me up for that. Let's see, the creator, both writing and doing the artwork and this cover here that we're looking at is Joseph Schmalk. I'm not very familiar with the creator's work, but really always interested in giving these indie titles a shot. So I will definitely be checking out We Don't Kill Spiders, issue number 1. That is my number 8 pick. Let's see. Going into my number 7 pick is Ssiphon, another issue number 1. Ssiphon issue number 1. This is an Image Comics book. The story is by Mohsen Ashraf, and Patrick Meany is doing the writing, Jeff Edwards doing the artwork. And I was just looking at the kind of the breakup or the description of this, and really interesting. Basically, I mean, I'll kind of go over it here, but Ssiphon introduces a new supernatural empath who is entrusted with the power to sense and siphon pain from others. So essentially, his name's Silas, a fast-living EMT, is now able to directly ease the suffering of the people around him. But the more he uses the gift, the more it curses him with carrying the miseries of those he's helped. I find this to be really interesting. So it's the idea that you have the ability to ease the pain of other people. However, when you do so, you carry that pain on yourself. If you had that power, how would you use it? Or would you use it? Is an interesting question. I feel like, as somebody who always wants to help others and see someone succeed, it's very interesting to kind of think of, well, you can do that in a way to, taking their pain away, but you take on their miseries. So I don't know, definitely a thinker, that's for sure. It says, tormented in his solitude, Silas is befriended by a drifter who eventually draws him into an age-old war that has raged for control over the human condition. So it seems like it goes into a couple different directions. It seems really interesting. I'm going to be checking this out for sure. Ssiphon issue number 1. Even the artwork here, looking at this cover, that looks dope. So I'm on board with that as my number 7 pick of the week, Ssiphon issue number 1. Let's see, going into number 6, this is another issue. There's a lot of issue number 1s at the top of this list here as I'm going through. But this is another big one that just had a lot of hype, obviously, because of the writer, or one of the writers. This is Mother of Madness, issue number 1. And this is another Image comic. This is a 3-issue miniseries, which I didn't realize when it was first announced. But Emilia Clarke, the actress from Game of Thrones, she is going to be one of the writers, or she is one of the writers of this, also teaming up with Margaret Bennett. I'm not very familiar with her work, but actually, let's see if there is something I recognize. Batman Urban Legends, and also The Lot. Oh, wow, okay. So there's, so Bennett has definitely done some things I recognize. Animosity, Batgirl, some past Batman stuff. Wow, okay, so well established, it seems. So doing the writing there, and then the artist is Layla Lies. the art, the cover here looks really interesting and unique. I'm on board for sure, just for the simple reason that it's Emilia Clarke. I love her acting, and I'm just curious about, you know, how this issue can come out. It says the mayhem begins when Maya, an under the weather scientist by day, over the top superhero by night, and badass single mom 24/7. Deadpool action and Fleabag comedy collide when Maya activates her freakish superpowers to take on a secret sect of human traffickers. Mature readers only. Comedy and chaos awaits in the first of 3 40-page issues by this glamorous artist of Horde, Layla Lies. Yeah, so that just, all of it sounds great. Sign me up. I'm definitely interested. So I will definitely be picking up. And I think there's a decent amount of covers here. I see there's a Jen Bartel cover there. Might have to pick that up as well. And Dolfo variant, oof, yeah. So some good covers too. So that's another issue number 1. Mother of Madness, issue number 1. That is my number 6 pick of the week. Let's see. Halfway through, let's go into my number 5. And I got to go with Silver City issue number 3. If you guys didn't know, and I mentioned this before, as Silver City first came out, I was actually having the opportunity to interview the writer, Olivia Cuartero Briggs. Had her on as my first official guest for my comic creator origins show that I kind of been kicking off or launch. I'm starting to get others in the works too, hopefully soon. So, but hey, this is another Aftershock book. Talking with Olivia was amazing. If you guys missed that, I'll have to put the link in the description below. But really enjoying Silver City. If you guys have not read this yet, I highly recommend jumping on board. It's only the 3rd issue now coming out. Essentially is about the idea of a like an afterlife, or kind of a in-between, a purgatory, after these folks are in this serious plane accident, and there's just a lot to this other world that we're continuing to learn, and it's this purgatory idea where basically, like, you still have like responsibilities, like you still have a job, or you still work, you still pay rent, all this stuff, but you're in this, what they call Silver City, this purgatory world. And the difference is you don't age. So however old you were when you passed away is how old you are while you're living in this particular afterlife. And it makes you think of a lot of different things in terms of like pros and cons of, maybe passing away when you're young versus passing away when you're older, because you get to keep the body that you're in. And so it's like, when you're in this purgatory world, would you rather have a younger body or older body? Where would you prefer to stand, especially knowing you can't get any older? Talking with Olivia, one of the things that she highlighted too was the fact that, you can drink and drink and drink and you can't get hangovers, which I found very interesting. So she touches on a lot of different aspects of like possibilities of this purgatory world that I think just really plays with, your thoughts of just trying to think, putting yourself in the shoes of some of the characters. What would you do? How would you carry on? And all this stuff. Meanwhile, there's also this other big story that's kind of being written in, which is really cool. And I won't get into all the details here, but I definitely recommend Silver City. So this is issue number 3. Luca Murley, by the way, doing some amazing artwork as well. Definitely check this out if you get a chance. That's my number 5 pick on the week. Silver City issue number 3. Let's see. Going into my number 4 pick, I am going with Lila Starr, The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, issue number 4, written by Ram V, who has just been absolutely killing it. Felipe Andrade doing the artwork and the cover here that we're looking at. This is another Boom Studio book that I've just fallen in love with. I actually think I have to catch up on issue 3 still, but issues 1 and 2 were fantastic. Essentially, it's about this goddess who is the goddess of death, and she gets fired. She doesn't have, or she gets, essentially let go, and her punishment, or her, not punishment, but she has to live out the rest of her days on Earth as a mortal. And she's basically getting replaced because there's this new, child that's just been born, and he has the ability to give immortality. And so they basically were telling her, like, we're not going to need you anymore because we're not going to need death anymore. And so, it was great having you, and here's the door. So it's really interesting because now Layla is trying to figure out a way to take this child out so that she can get her job back, essentially. So really interesting concept, a really good story from what I've read so far. I do believe I need to catch up on issue 3. So this is issue 4 here, Many Deaths of Lila Starr. Not too far in if you haven't gotten into it yet. Although the first story arc's probably wrapping up by 5 or 6. If you want to wait for that to come out on trade, you could certainly do that as well. But Ram V is just killing it between this and things like Swamp Thing. I'm just really enjoying his work. So definitely on my list, and higher up on my list, as it is my number 4 pick of the week, The Many Deaths of Lila Starr, issue number 4. Let's see. We're going into my top 3 here. And another great book. I'm going with Radiant Black. This is issue number 6. Kyle Higgins is doing a tremendous job with this book. I am really enjoying Radiant Black. It just gets better with every issue. I think issue 4 was a huge left turn. This book is jumping all around. Issue 5, we got to meet some new characters, some new good guy characters. So really interesting. The artwork here is also really some great stuff. Let's see, Cherish Chen is doing the art, and now I think about it, I don't know if Cherish Chen was doing the artwork previously, but they are for this particular issue. Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with it, is kind of essentially the idea that this kid who is down on his luck, it can barely afford to live on his own. In fact, he has to move back in with his parents. He's not happy with his job. He's trying to become a successful writer, and that he's not having a great breakthrough on all that. He kind of comes across this superhuman suit, this superpower suit, that gives him these abilities to have these superpowers. He can fly, all this crazy stuff. And so he's trying to figure out basically how to use it. But he's a good guy. He's not trying to do anything wrong with it. But meanwhile, there's this other, basically there's another individual on Earth who has a suit similar to that. And this individual is Robin Banks and things like that. As you can see in this particular cover here, someone with 2 bags and a lot of money. So it's kind of hinting towards that, even though we're on issue 6 now. But anyways, that's the gist of kind of, the first issue and where this goes. But there's some hard left turns. Like I said, issue 4, issue 5 have some really juicy stuff in them. So really enjoying it. Radiant Black. This is issue number 6, and I believe this is starting off the next story arc. So maybe you can catch the trade for 1 through 5 if whenever that comes out. But definitely recommend it, as it is my number 3 pick of the week. Radiant Black, issue number 6. Let's see. Number 2 on the list. This I just caught up on this. So I'm going with Shadecraft, issue number 5. And holy smokes, this book, talk about left turns, right? We were just talking about before, like some different directions that the books are going, some of these. I was a little behind on this. I loved issue 1. Issue 2 continued to set up the stage. Issue 3 really started to open things up as we start to discover kind of where the direction of the book is going. And issue 4, the bigger picture, I guess you can say. But basically it's about this teenage girl, Zadie Lou, who doesn't, essentially your typical, just a teenager who is trying to get through high school. And finds out that she has these abilities to kind of communicate or control shadows, or is being spooked by shadows. It's kind of a mixture of all these things. Meanwhile, her family is very much in the story. Her mom and dad are trying to deal with her brother who is in a coma, taking blame for kind of the situation that they are in right now with her brother, who lives with them and is in a coma, and they are taken care of on a daily basis. And it's very hard on them. Zadie kind of blames herself for some of the situations. She also kind of hates him in a way because he was like the Mr. Popular of the family and at school. And so she's kind of looked at differently. And, it's really interesting because you find out that essentially her shadow is her brother, in this other like kind of life form. And so I love the kind of back and forth between her and her brother as they kind of argue and bicker about certain things. But ultimately the brother kind of comes in hand, saving Zadie when she gets into some trouble with some other shadows that are kind of attacking her. So that's like kind of the gist of like just the first issue, but it goes way deeper than that. And I really enjoy, like, I feel like issue 3, issue 4 really started to pick up. So if you guys were starting to fall off it for whatever reason after issue 2, I definitely recommend you to keep going with it, because it gets, in my opinion, it gets really good. And of course the artwork's beautiful too, which I think is another reason why I really wanted to continue with it. Antonio Fabela doing great work with the art here, and this is just continues the good stuff. So Joe Henderson doing the writing as well. This is an Image cover, sorry, an Image Comics. So Shadecraft issue number 5, that's my number 2 pick of the week. Let's see, we are coming up to the last pick. As always, I just want to say, take a moment to say thanks again, anybody that's in the premiere right now. Always appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me here on this Thursday afternoon, or yeah, right around noon. So again, if you guys wanted to catch the premiere live, it is 12:30 on Thursdays Eastern time. So again, if you're here right now, thank you so much for hanging out. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this list. Let me know what you think of, you know, are there some books I'm missing, which I'm sure there are. I mean, there's so many issue 1s that I wanted to make sure I highlighted here. So, you know, the back 5, there wasn't really any major order. It's just kind of like, I'm excited for all these books, so definitely check them out. But, you know, these final 4 or so, like, I definitely want to order them, because this number 1 is my number 1 book I'm very excited for. And maybe you could have guessed it, maybe you couldn't have. But before we get into it, again, just want to remind you all to smash that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Also a reminder that this Saturday I have another Comic Collector Origins at 2 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to be interviewing my good friend Cole, aka Comic Burrito. Really like what they do over on the Comic Burrito channel, and so Cole's going to be my special guest at 2 o'clock Eastern time. If you guys never caught Comic Collector Origins, definitely check it out. It is all about the community. It is where I bring on community members and interview them about their origin story, get to know a little bit more about how they got started in this fantastic hobby that we are in, and hearing a little bit about their first appearance at Comic Cons and local comic shops and things like that. So really looking forward to Saturday. Hopefully you guys can swing by the chat and say hello. So that's 2 o'clock Eastern time, Comic Collector Origins. All right, let's get into my number 1 pick. And of course I got to go with Nightwing issue number 82. And man, I can't say enough about this book. You guys already know I could probably talk about this book for hours. So and I promise you I won't do that here. I'll keep this short and sweet. If you guys follow me at all, either here on YouTube or over on Instagram, you know that I've been obsessed with Nightwing, and it's probably my number 1 favorite read out right now of current books coming out. And I just started reading it on issue 78. That's where it started. Nightwing 78 is where it started for me, mainly because Tom Taylor took over as the writer, as they kind of did this like small like internal reboot. Just been completely obsessed with what Tom Taylor has done ever since he's taken over this. I've never read Nightwing beforehand, so 78 is where I first jumped in. Also Bruno Redondo doing the artwork, tremendous. I love the artwork. It is so good. Every single panel, I swear, it's just beautiful stuff. I can't say enough about this book overall. Redondo did the cover here. I buy all the Redondo covers. The interior work is just stunning. We got Bitewing here on the cover as well. And the team is, the characters are really starting to come together now. We're introduced to a couple new characters, or some big reveals, I should say, from issue 81. So I won't get into the details, but we do discover, you know, kind of the main villain from last issue, a little bit more details, at least one of the main villains. But yeah, I mean, I never was a Nightwing person. I never got into reading Nightwing or I mean, DC, if you know, you've been following me, I'm newer to DC in general. So, but I had to give it a shot because of Tom Taylor, and I'm glad I did, because 78 just changed my world. And so if you're not reading Nightwing, I highly recommend it. I can't say it enough. I don't care if you don't read DC. I don't care if you don't read Nightwing. I don't care if you know, are just not into, you know, the DC universe or whatever the case may be, or whatever you tell yourself. I was there. I would say that about that all the time, and I'm glad that I stepped out of my my shell of what I was reading to go and read some DC, to check out Nightwing and Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo, because this is literally my favorite series. So, and here I am rambling about Nightwing. I told you I could probably talk for an hour about it. I won't say anything else, but I do recommend you guys check it out if you haven't already. So that's my number one pick of the week, Nightwing issue number 82. Make sure you pick it up because it's that damn good. All right, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you all again so much for hanging out. Let me know what you guys thought about my top 10 picks for New Comic Book Day, July 21st, 2021. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. If I missed something, let me know. Always looking for those recommendations. If you are here in the premiere right now, thank you so much for hanging out in the premiere. Always appreciate y'all stopping by the channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out, and subscribe if you're new. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. So until next time, I will talk to you later.